Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to bring you the 6th video from the Mobile Hunters Expo that I went to in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And if you can make it to the northern one that's on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of July this month, y'all need to go to it. It's going to be awesome. It's an improved version of the one that I went to, and y'all just really need to go to that. But this episode, in this video, we're going to bring to you Dryad and their saddles, and let's go check them out.
So we have two separate harnesses and we have two separate hammers, right? So the whole idea of our system is it's hybrid in a sense in that you can use your harness with a lock-on stand, a climber, a preset, anything like that. And generally when guys are buying those, they're buying what we call a kill deer. And the kill deer would be what he's wearing. And you can see the difference between them. I'm wearing a Mutiny. He's wearing a kill deer, and I'll show you why they're different. And what the only thing different on them is this buckle. You can see his buckle does not have a D-ring, and it doesn't have this amp steel lead that I've got. And I'll show you why that's important. But essentially, most guys that are using lock-ons or running a hybrid approach, where they're, you know, every once in a while they're going to pull the hammock out and use it. They're going to use the kill deer, and I personally like the kill deer better anyway. And I'll show you why. So we have two styles. We've got a big hammock and a little hammock. So we've got, you can see the difference in size.
Yeah.
This is much bigger than this one. So this one's more like a traditional. Do you saddle hunt right now?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you use?
Phantom.
The Phantom, okay. So the Phantom's a little smaller, a bit of a smaller one. I mean, I don't know what the 12 inches, 14
Something
inches.
like that,
I mean,
yeah.
It's tight. So this one, you're going to get about 30 inches from top to bottom. So you're talking, you know, bottom of the butt, maybe mid-rib, something like that. And so you'll get like mid-back support on it. But you won't get like all the full back support and the ability to really get into something that you would with the big one. So I'll get into the big one and show it to you. And I'll show you the difference between the harnesses. We'll start there. So typically, when you climb, so typically you climb up, you know, you're using your climbing rope like you normally would. Yeah, you probably want to come over here. So once you're at climbing height, and you're ready to detach from your lineman, of course you don't want to be unattached, right? You want to go. So you would install your tether. Our tethers for a hybrid system, for the kill deer, is going to be 2 anchor points. So you'll have 2 carabiners and 2 friction hitches, or whatever configuration you want to do. You could do a conduct up here, or rope one, or whatever you got. You can turn your own, doesn't matter. Essentially, you just need 2 anchor points on here for the other harness, and that's where the difference lies. So if I got the climbing height, then I installed my tether. The belay loop on here, and I don't have my leg straps on right now, just for demo purposes. But when you get up climbing height, you would clip into your on his Because the only difference is if you just deleted that part right there, right? He's going to do the same thing. He's going to clip into that belay loop right there. But if you're clipped in this belay loop, right, and I'm ready to hunt. Say I'm ready to hunt. Now I'm on my harness, right? But if I were to put my hammock right here, I wouldn't be able to, or not here, sorry. If I were to put my hammock here, I wouldn't be able to actually sit in, because the hammock's gonna hang down here.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to, you need 2 anchor points because you need to adjust this one into the hammock. And I'll show you that here. So this typically lives in a pouch. It has tabs on it in the middle here that you can slot into molly on the inside of the pouch that keeps it attached if you want to. So we gave guys the option if they wanted to run it detached, which gives you a little more variation and room to be able to move that fabric where you want it. Or if you don't like the fact that when you stand up it kind of falls down, like you can see what it's doing right here. With the pouch, with it installed in the pouch, it would never fall down because it's attached right there. And you can quickly find your lead line off of it and go. So you can see here my 2 anchor points. So if this was up here, I wouldn't be able to load the hammock. But since I have the rest of that tag into that tether to work with, I can. So you've got an adjustable bridge on your. You've got an adjustable bridge on the hammock. You can get it as tight as you want. And this big one, this bigger hammock is typically a sitter's.
Yeah.
It's a sitter's, dream. We've got back adjusters on the side here, so you can adjust the level of your back and where it's at. You can let them out. There's 2 of them. You can do one at a time. But this one, this is the one I always use. I'm not too big of a fan of the mini. I find comfort, sitting like this. I can sit here for very long in this configuration because I'm getting a lot of weight distribution. I'm not stacking up all my weight in certain smaller spots, on the strap in here, where the strapping comes together. It's evenly distributed that weight around. So I'll sit like this. If I'm hunting and active for deer, and I want to be ready for them, I'll run that top lead edge right there above my bicep, and then if a deer comes, I can just do this right here. And I'm reaching for my belt. It's just like any other saddle that's on the market. The angles are going to be the same. So shot interference is the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Rope's doing the same thing, right? So your string angle's the same, right?
Yeah.
Nothing has changed. So you don't get any shot interference. That's a lot of guys look at that and they go, man, there's no way you could shoot that,
Yeah. Well, I noticed also when you stood up and leaned forward just a little bit, it dropped. It dropped a little bit.
It drops, yeah.
Yeah.
If you lean forward, it comes down.
Yeah.
If you really want to, then you go in your shot. It will really stand up, but it's gone. So it's not too big of a, it's more up here than it is reality as far as people's concerned. One of the things that's important if you guys get one of these to know is that on a traditional saddle, if you're familiar with them, like on your Phantom, they have bridge loops.
Yeah.
And your bridge comes off of your bridge loops, and you can adjust where it pulls from.
Yeah.
You can't do that with these. What you can do is you can adjust your tether height. Because what you're functionally doing is you're adjusting your angle, right? And I'm steep right now for how small I am. That's pretty steep for me. But what you can do instead of adjusting the load here and where it draws is you can take your lead edges. Sometimes you'll get a stacking, especially if you're leaning. You can see how it tightens up when I lean. Watch that edge. See how that tightens up?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you want to do or be able to do, and it's why we put these little guys right here, is these little pull tabs. And one of the things, it's kind of like adjusting the load on a bridge loop. What I like to envision or think about is like the angle of that lead edge. I kind of want to match the angle of my bridge. So if I take this and I come back, and you can get all the way to the back of the small of your butt, right there. Now you're kind of doing like what a regular saddle does, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of running that crease right here. But you're getting 2 layers of fabric right there, so you get, that lead edge essentially disappears.
Yeah.
So you can lean in it now, you can do whatever. So you can still lean in this, it's still capable of doing it, but if you look at where I'm at right now, I'm a little bit away from the tree.
Yeah.
And that's one of the common complaints we get, and why we came out with the mini, was for guys who basically are leaning most of the time. They want to be tighter to the tree. They feel like the deer's going to see them if they're out here. So you can swing it around. So they want to be tighter to the tree. And you can get tighter if you draw the bridge in on this, but it's better to have the mini. For something like that. Because the distance between the distance from the bottom of my butt to effectively like where the bridge starts, right?
Yeah.
On the big one, you probably would have noticed it's much bigger. So that means your bridge length can only go down to a certain amount, right? The minimum bridge length is much bigger on the bigger one than it is on the smaller one. So this acts more like a traditional saddle. And we include like a little waist belt in there. So instead of it being attached to the pouch, it'll actually stay up on you when you're moving around. And it's removable and modular, which keeps with our ethos. But with this one, you can see I can really get tighter to this tree. Especially if I move this down to where as small as a guy as I am. Right? That's typical. Now you're leaning and you're back to tight to the tree.
Yeah.
I'm much closer than I was before. So this, you don't get, like I said, you don't get all that like scapular support out of this one, but you still get, and I'm a really small guy, so this is much more than a standard person would get. I can still get inside of this, like my kids do.
Yeah, it come up right here.
It's perfect for kids. This is like a full-size one on a kid. It's basically what I am. The size of me, I'm about a kid. But yeah, it would come up on you. It would be, somewhere like third rib, second rib, something like that. But you still get your mid support.
Yeah. No, I like how you said that. It would be perfect for kids because actually that's about the only saddle I've seen that possibly would be good for a kid.
Yeah, it works really good. My son Rex, when I first started out with him, he did not like heights. He was kind of scared of them. And so what I would do is I actually would put him in a big hammock. And with the big hammock, you can really get down inside of it. You can get your head inside of it. Well, that's what I would do. I'd get him in the tree and I'd put him in that big hammock and get his, and he'd forget that he's up in the tree. And so over time, that normalized it for him. He got over it. And now I get him in a little mini. And the only problem with him is he wants to swing around like a monkey. But they love it. Yeah, it does really good. Yeah. They like it. And it's easy too. It's simple. It's, it's nothing.
Yeah, I can see where it'd be adaptable. Like some of the other saddles would be harder because it'd be like they'd be engulfed in it.
Yes.
And that would be really good for kids.
And the concept, right, is that you don't have a static design. You don't have a static. What would you call it? A static design. Yeah, you don't have like a shape, right? Like if you look at any other saddle that's out here, they all have a shape. And that shape means, well, it's going to fit somebody, one person especially well, but not necessarily most people. That's why there's probably so many. But this one, it doesn't have a shape. It's going to conform to your hips, my hips. Even from somebody small like me, somebody large like one of my buddies that's 260. He gets in it and he's like, this is the only thing I want to sit in because it conforms to him and it distributes weight over the same type of material over a bigger distance. So you don't get the stack up of weight over certain points, like right here or right here on your hip. That's what hip pinch is. It's just a stacking of your weight on a particular point. And if you can get rid of that, well, there you go.
Yeah. Distribute it more.
That's right. Yeah, and so that's how we get away from it. I've saddle hunted for a long time, and I can sit in that big one, and I can sit still for hours. And that's one of the primary things for me, especially as I get older, is like If you start hurting, you're going to move because you're going to have to shift your weight. Right? I'm standing on concrete all day. I'm going to be, you know what I mean? So when you're hunting, you know, naturally that's what you're going to be doing if you're hurting. There's no, you know, well now you're moving all, you're trying to shift your weight in this thing and you're trying to get it somewhere where you're comfortable. Well, you're never going to get that comfort, and it's only going to get worse and worse over time before you quit and go home. Well, what's the point? Because if you're moving around, a deer just moves.
Yep.
So, yeah, movement, deer, movement, animal. They're keenly aware of what? Sight and smell.
Yeah.
You got to avoid it. So that's what allows me to do. I can sit in that big one for hours at a time. You know, that's what draws to sell it. It's like, oh, this is actually covered. It's actually, you know, that's really like our primary. It's like, I want to be comfortable.
You gotta be in the woods to shoot them.
That's right, and you got to be still.
You gotta be still. Yeah, I can see where some people with the saddle would run them out. They'd be like, I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, Nick, he wouldn't have got in. You know, he tells me, he's like, I would have never gotten in the saddle if it wasn't for the hammer. And I've got plenty of buddies that will say the same thing. And I probably wouldn't be in a saddle today if it wasn't for him, because they just hurt me. I don't know. And I'm swinging too much, and I make too much to movement. But, you know, and that's God's honest truth. Like, I really enjoy that hammock. I'm a public land guy. Have been before it got cool. And, you know, so I'm used to walking real far distances, and, you know, and I enjoy that part of it. I enjoy going far distances. I don't have to. Nobody really has to. I enjoy that walk. I enjoy that time in the woods. Spend all that. That's the point for me, right?
Yeah.
And when I do those long distances, it gets harder as I get older. And the further you go, the harder your back hurts. You know. And you get to the end of it, maybe you find a good tree, you hop in the tree, and I get in that hammock and I lean back, and all that weight goes off. I don't have to engage my core. I don't have to engage my lower back. I can really just sit and ease. You know.
And relax.
And relax. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, that's what we're all doing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we love to shoot a big, you know, 200-inch deer like Mike Perry over here in Alabama, but we're not all Mike Perry, you know. But you know, that's me. You know, that's me. I like the experience and I like the comfort. That's what I'm chasing.
I do too. The deer's the bonus.
The deer is the bonus. The food is the bonus. You know, there's so much that goes in it. And if I can extend my comfort, you know, you'll have to make sacrifices with this system. You know? It's not the standard marketed dump pouches, you know, cool looking thing. You know, you're not going to put dump pouches on it and wrap it around you.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to figure out what to do with your gear. So, you know, just like any system, you got to kind of navigate and change some things. But we try to make it modular enough. You know, you could put that big hammock over top of your family. You know, stuff it down in a backpack when you don't want it. If it's a rut hunt or something, you're going to be there all day. You want your hammock? Pull your hammock out. Spin you another anchor point. Put it on there and sit back in your hammock. You know, that's how I ran my hammock the first time that I did when we were developing them. Not really for market, just because it was trying to find a dancer. I ran it on a standard saddle, and I found so much more comfort.
I can see it.
That's what changed it. So you can run it over top of a regular saddle. You just gotta get rid of your saddle. You don't have to. Yeah, you kind of either get rid of them or get them empty.
Detachable.
Yeah, detachable, something like that. Yeah, which it's doable. You know. It's all doable.
Yeah. And how much? Not here, because people won't be able to see it. How much is the big one, the biggest one on the site?
Well, it's all modular. So if you buy like a full kit from us, and that full kit, not including the rope, would be, you know, the harness with some leg straps and leg strap enforcers and a pouch and the hammock together. We run like 10% off because you're buying a whole bunch of stuff from us. But you can buy each individual component individually. So if you have a Phantom and you want to try to buy, you want to try to, you know, try it out, you can just buy the retrofit kit, which you know, comes with a way to attach it to the molly on your saddle. Then you can run it that way. And then you can come back to us and go, well, I don't need my saddle, I just need a slim little nice harness, you know? That's where we ended up. It's like, well, we don't need that anymore. But you can come back and you can get it, and piecemeal it that way. But if you just bought the kit, say our hybrid kit, I think don't quote me on this, we're around $250, somewhere around there, I believe.
That's not a bad price.
No, we try to keep. We're working on cost too. We're always trying to work on cost.
That's a good price compared to a lot of things other things I've seen.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if one of the things that we're going to struggle with, and I'm glad we came to the show so we can get coverage like this, is this concept right here. This is something that we're going to try to drive to our customers to understand. Just the 2-anchor rope, because everybody else in the market, it's all you're going to see is this, right? You're just going to see one.
Yeah.
But if you can transition your mind to a 2-anchor one, where one of them's your harness, right? And one of them's your hammock, that would, it makes it better. Because I'll show you the difference. Like, and I told you that earlier. This is our filter harness, the one I'm wearing. This is the last year, 2 years ago, I don't know. You can see this lead line right here.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is when you get up in after you climb the tree, if you've got a single anchor, like you have right now, right? You've got a single anchor on your tether. What you would do is take the end of this, you clip it in here, and then you would put your hammock in there. Let me here. Might more effectively show. You put it in the same carabiner, right?
Yeah.
But you notice it's adjustable. So instead of adjusting this, you adjust that, right? So it's the same exact thing. But the nice thing is we don't have to splice that, so we can reduce the cost on it. But all you got to do is have, another anchor point, which means either you spin one yourself, get familiar with friction hitches, or we'll end up having a kit available that'll have. We have them for sale right now. We don't have them on the website, but we will be introducing them on the website. So you can buy the kit with 2 on there, with 2 carabiners, and have everything already. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
I like the options, all the ways you can do it.
Yeah, that's kind of that's our ethos. Yeah, it's true to Saddleline because there's tons of ways to do it.
Tons of ways to do it.
Yeah, and it's all modular. We like to try to keep everything backwards compatible too. So if you've got if you've got an old harness, I'm trying to make sure that any of the new hammocks and stuff. Of course, some changes are going to break that fluidity, but we try to keep that exact. Keep everything kind of piecemeal. So if you want to come into us and get introduced to a hammock, it's not too hard on your wallet. You get in on it, you try it. If you like it and you don't see any need and you just really need a lightweight harness with some lime leaves on there, we got you covered. And come back and get it out. And maybe even give me a call and I'll still cut you a discount for coming back. I'll always answer the phone.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
And they can find it at Dryad.com?
Yep, Dryad, dryadsaddles.com. You can look us on Instagram or Facebook. Google should know us by now, so type in saddle hunting Dryad or something, we'll pop up. You'll find it.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Those Dryad saddles were pretty neat. One thing they remind me of is the tree lounge that was out in I think it was the early 90s. The tree lounge, you could sit back and get real comfortable in it. If you had some back problems, that Dryad would be really awesome. I'm more or less a person who stands and just barely leans back while I'm hunting out of the saddle. I hardly ever sit down. So that would not be for me. But if you had back problems and wanted back support, man, those Dryad would be really good for you. So I'm gonna put a link to their website in the description, and y'all go check them out. I really appreciate y'all watching the video. Click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you can see future videos.